welcome to this second JavaScript tutorial. My name's David Thorne. I'm from Thorne Web Design, and today what we're going to discuss is making a simple calculator with JavaScript and HTML together. Alright, now in the last tutorial we talked about data types. Now I was trying to think about where we can move on to the next step. Now there was about 4 or 5 different elements that I should talk about before I do this tutorial, but I wanted to jump into this tutorial first to give you a working example. Okay, I think it's going to be more beneficial for you to see a working example of all of these things and then do these things step by step. Alright, so let's jump straight into it, because potentially if you're 100% new to JavaScript, then a lot of it you're not going to understand. Okay, this is 20 minutes of your time, and I think this is going to be valuable, and I think you'll have a good understanding by the end of it, ready for the next tutorials. Okay, so let's just jump straight over to do some coding. Got a simple HTML text here, and as you can see inside the head tag. Okay, within this tutorial you should already know about HTML. Alright, I'm not going to discuss HTML. So you need a script tag, and the type is equal to text/JavaScript, and the source is then the source file of your JavaScript file. Okay, and my JavaScript file is sat in a folder called JS, and then you just close the script tag. Okay, it's important to note that you must open and close the script tag. Okay, and you don't need anything within inside of it. So this JavaScript file is now going to be included into the head of the browser, okay, into the memory prior to the body being loaded. Okay, so let's just move on. As I said, we're going to make a simple calculator. Okay, so what we want to do is just make a num1, a num2, the sign or the type of calculation that we want to do, then a button to say, look, press me, do the calculation, and another box just to show the result of the calculation itself. So input type equals text, and we're just going to give it the ID of num1. Okay, the ID is important for this tutorial. Okay, okay, so just going to copy it. Just going to make num2. Alright, what else I want to make is then the button. I'm just going to copy this just for the sake of speed, and we're just going to call this button, and I'm going to change the type to button. Okay, then just going to give it a value, the name that's going to be actually displayed on the button. Okay, and that's that for now. Okay, in between the two numbers, I want to display a select drop-down menu, and we're just going to call this the sign. This is the sign that we're going to use. Okay, and the options within inside of it. The information that JavaScript is going to be reading is the value of the option. Okay, so and then the cosmetic sign or whatever that's going to be displayed is just this asterisk. Or just for the sake of this, we'll put an X there. Okay, so let's copy this and paste it 3 more times, and obviously then we've got times, we've got divide. Whoops, let's just place that back and take that out. Divide, then we've got minus, then the last one is going to be plus. So let's change the plus sign there, change the minus sign there, and change this one here. Okay, then the final thing we need is, once the person has actually entered the click the button, then we want something to display the result. Now I'm feeling quite lazy, so I'm just going to put 2 break tags here, change this, and then I'm just going to say result. So this is where the result is actually going to go. Okay, and then let's be kind of proactive about this and put the result here as well. So let's have a look at this little form that we've got. Okay, and as you can see there, this big X. I'm not really a big fan of that big X, so I'm going to change it to a small x. Okay, and then we've got the divide sign, and then the minus, and then the plus. You've got a box here, this here, a button to press, and then where the result is going to go. It doesn't do anything at the moment, so let's just crack on with it and do it. Okay, things to note: this input text box is called num1. This drop down menu is called sign, this input text box is called num2, and this button at the moment, it doesn't matter whether it's got a name or not, but it's just a button, and this input text box called result. Okay, they're IDs, and this is what we're going to use in JavaScript to be able to read them. Alright, so let's come over to our script file, and what we're going to do is we're just going to make one function, and this function is going to do everything that we want it to do. And inside this function we're going to set some variables. Okay, remember we talked about data types in the last tutorial. Right, well these at the moment are just going to be variables with no data type in it at all. So we've declared two vars using the comma separated method of doing this. Then also I'm going to declare the results, and I'm also going to declare the sign, and we're going to give it a default setting of the plus sign. Okay, these variables are only available within inside of this function, and if I make another variable up here called num1 equal to 5, this variable has no value. Okay, these two do not interact. They might have the same name, but they don't have anything to do with each other. Okay, because of this var here, which meant that it's basically private and only available within inside of this variable. If we remove this var, then this num1 would then be talking about this variable up here. Okay, for the time being, let's not do it. Okay, so I'm going to make like about 6 functions, I think it is, with inside of it. Now these functions are only available with inside this function as well. Okay, so we can't call them directly. There would be another way to do it. Not going to talk about it right now. Okay, so first of all, we're going to get the information that's on the page. Okay, so it's just going to get the value of the get num1 text box. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to set the num1 variable, which is up here, okay, to the value of that input text box. So we're going to say documents, okay, and a function with inside the document object model and JavaScript is called getElementById. And inside here we're just going to enter the ID that we're going to get it, and the property that we're going to get from it is the value property. Okay, so it's all separated by dots because it's object orientated, and that's how it works. Okay, let's remove that. Okay, and this function, once called, is then going to return, okay, the value of num1. Alright, well we can copy this another time as well, and then we can actually copy it twice, and this one's going to be called get num1, that's the name of it, and we're going to set potentially this value, and we're then going to get the value of num2. Okay, and we're going to return num2. Okay, this one is going to get the sign. Okay, so let's get the element of sign, and we're going to set the sign here, and then we're going to return the sign here. Okay, so that's the 3 things that we've got and we've kind of set with inside of it. Now the other thing that I want to do is I want to set the results. Okay, so the result is going to be, we're going to go straight to the document once again. I'm going to get element. Just let this write it for me. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to set the value of the result on the page equal to the result up here. Now at the moment it hasn't got a value, so it wouldn't do anything, but we're just setting it. Okay, it's as simple as that. We're just setting this input text box on the page. Now after this, or in between this, we're going to actually have to do the calculations and so on. So that's what we're going to do now, and we're going to say do calc. Okay, now with inside here, what I'm going to do is, for the sake of variable scope, I'm going to make another var num1, which is only then available with inside this function and has nothing to do with the other variables. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to say get num1. Okay, so we're going to let this function up here give this variable the property of the value of num1 on the input text field on the actual main page. and we can copy this, and you probably guessed it by now. We're going to get the value of num2. Okay, now the sign we don't need to get the value of because we're going to use the data type of boolean to work this out. Okay, and we're just going to let the sign return it. Okay, and we're going to use this function, so we don't need to set it. So if get sign, this is now flow control to work out if it's equal to the sign type, so we can then do the calculation. So if get sign is equal to the asterisk, then we're going to do something. Okay, so if not, then the type of this data type as such that we're using is going to be boolean, which is going to be false. So this here will determine whether it's going to be true or false. If false, it will move on. If true, it will do what's inside of here. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to test it again, and we're going to say else if get sign is equal to divide. Okay, and if it's true, then it's going to do the text, the command inside of this, and we're going to copy this, paste it one more time, and we're going to say if get sign, whoops, yes. If get sign is equal to minus, then do this. If get sign is equal to divide, then do this. Else, it's going to be basically plus, because we've got times. It's going to start off, is it times? Go nope. Else if, is it this? Nope. Else if, is it this? Nope. Do this. Okay, so with inside here, what we need to do now is say result equals to num1 times num2. Okay. And then the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to say result, I'll just mouse that one, equals num1 divided by num2. Now, as you can see, we've used the / here. This means divide with inside JavaScript when used like the way that we have. Okay, so now we're going to say result equals num1 minus num2. Okay, and the final one is going to be plus because it's not any of the other ones. Okay, so we're going to say num1 plus num2. So it's by default always going to be the plus sign. Okay. Now, so this means that this test here has set this result. Okay. Well, now what we need to do is we need to call this function because we've done the calculation. Now we need to display it. So what we do is we're going to say set results. Okay. Once it's finished, we're going to call this function with inside of our calc function. Okay. So that's basically pretty much it all done now. Okay. If you do know JavaScript and you are watching this tutorial just out of interest, okay, there has been a mistake being made. I know the mistake. I've done it purposely, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute. But you need to be able to see this mistake to be able to know why it's happened. All right. So this is now saved. Now the only thing left to do is to call this do calc function. So when someone clicks the button, which is going to call the calc function, with inside of this we want to do calc. All right, because we've already got the num1 text, we've got the num2 text, we've got the sign. Okay, because this has returned the value of sign. Okay, and set the value of sign. Okay, and then once it's finished, it's done the calculation. Now we want to set the input text box result with the value of sign. Okay, so the final thing that we need to do with inside of our function, our calc function, is call the do calc. So potentially when someone calls the calc, when the click calls calc, it's going to initialize these variables. It's then going to make these functions, going to store it into it. And it's going to come down here and it's going to go, okay, I need to do calc. It's going to come to do calc, set var1, set var2. It's going to test this. It's going to set the var. It's going to come down here. It's going to set the result, input text box, then it's going to finish. Okay, so let's save this, come to here. Now our button needs some actions placing on it, so what we're going to do is we're going to say on click. When someone clicks it, then it's going to do our function of, I have no idea why it does that. It's going to do our function of calc. Okay, very simple. Okay, so let's come over to here and let's refresh this, and let's put 3 and 5, and first of all we're going to say times, and put times 5 in here, press calculate, and as you can see the result has got 15. Okay, let's put divide, and just because I know this, it's going to be 0.6. Alright, it's only because I've done it before. Okay, now let's go to minus. So 3 minus 5, do the maths quickly, is minus 2. Yep, it shows up with minus 2. Now 3 plus 5 we all know is what? Is 8. Yeah, so we come to plus here and we click calculate. The result in here should technically display 8. Now let's have a look. 35, excellent. That's really great maths. Okay, why did it do this? Let me drink some tea first. Okay, why did it do this? Well, that's because the times, the divide and the minus, well, that isn't used in JavaScript for anything else apart from calculations. Okay, now the plus sign in JavaScript is used for placing two words together. Okay, so if you have David, then Thorn, and you have the variable of first name and a variable of surname, and then you say first name plus surname, you would then get David Thorn. Okay, well potentially that's what JavaScript's done. It says 3 plus 5 equals 35. Yeah, it's not made a value. It's not made a number of 35. It's made the string of 35. Okay, so what we need to do is regarding data types. We need to speed this up as well, is basically say, right, num1 and num2, they're numbers, and you do anything with them, I want you to determine their value as a number, okay, and only use it as a number. So because we've made these functions, what we've got to do is use one of the JavaScript functions called, or objects called, number. Okay, and we'll just wrap it around here, so this function will now return a number. And we come to here, and it will now return a number. So now automatically num2 now is set as a number, okay, which is good. So let's just save this, come back to here. Okay, 3 plus 5 now equals 8. Alright, that's basically it, guys. Okay, this was just the basic information. It went through data types. It's showed you about data types because we've got the information within inside the signs is testing strings. Okay, then you've got addition and so on. You've got assigning the value to result. You've also then got the likes of Boolean. If this is true or false, then if it's true, do this. If it's false, go to the next one. You've got flow control, which is this here. Okay, it's testing the different results in things. You've then got making functions as well, making and calling functions as well. You've then got variable scope, because these variables are only available within inside of this function. You've also got nested functions as well. You've learned how to return data within inside of a function. You've learned how to pull information from elements on the inform elements and so on. So this is just a brief overview of things to come, okay, and what you can do with JavaScript. Okay, final note from me. Okay, if you're already on Facebook, alright, this number's on 39. I'm happy with 39 at the moment. I know we can get this higher. Okay, please like my tutorials. I don't really care about you liking them for the sake of other people coming. It's just to show me, actually, look, you appreciate my work and I want to continue doing this work. If this number keeps going up, I will keep on doing tutorials. Okay, So support me, and I'm going to support you by answering your questions. All right. If you've got any questions regarding this tutorial, please make a new discussion, all right, on here, and I will answer you pretty much within the same day. All right. That's about it for now. My name's David Thorne. You can find me at Facebook. It's facebook.com/Thorne Design. Okay. I'm happy to take any questions. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye then.